It's here, it's here, it's here. Oh, I'm excited. This is probably the best collectible in the entire game, bar none. I need to get mending on this thing immediately. Alright, so we've got our Franny pick all enchanted up, and we've got our Haste 2. So our little test is going to be Cobbled Deep Slate and regular Deep Slate. So with Haste 2 and Efficiency 8, we cannot insta-mine Cobbled Deep Slate. However, oh, that feels good. Let's do that one more time. And ooh, yeah, that feels good. So with this, we now basically have unlimited Cobbled Deep Slate whenever we want. I'm curious to see what other blocks are now insta-mineable with this thing. Off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure, but this is a bit of a lifesaver. So thank you to Koala in Rain for selling this to me. Best 2 stacks of diamonds and various map art I've ever spent. And yeah, we'll give this a go later. Now, in today's video, I want to build, well, I want to build the courtyard I was talking about in the last video. The little bit out in front of the tower that I built last video is looking pretty empty, and I think we need to change that. So the first thing we need to do is collect a bunch of materials. Now, I realize that I often collect my materials kind of off camera, and I just go and build the build, which, you know, is fine, but I figured I'd do it with you guys today. Now, I have most of the materials here in front of me, if not all of them, I think, that I want to use to build. So let's dig through my stuff and see what I got. You know, I'm starting to think my base is too noisy. Silly, I was gonna say sugar. No, not sugar. Yeah, it's a bamboo farm being loud. Speaking of which, you know what? Let's pause the material collection for a quick second, and let's just do some upkeep, shall we? I am so ready for that auto crafter. Good enough for now. Okay, let's see what we need. I need 28 mud bricks. Grab 28 of those. 217 packed mud. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to craft that. We need 92 cherry leaves. So we've got stacking a bit here. We can check our old manual cherry leaf farm. We've got a few more here. What did I say? 90, 10, 11. That's 90, 91. Well, 92. Perfect. We also need 38 cherry logs. Ow. We also need 38 spruce trapdoors. So we'll do 20. And then another almost 20. So if we just take one of those out, there we go. 38. We need 16 grass blocks. 15 brown mushroom blocks. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I don't have that. It's funny, you spend 10 months on a server and there are just certain things that you just don't have. Oh, there's some mushrooms. When in doubt, check the starter house. Okay, well, we can make mushrooms. Mycelium allows you to place mushrooms at any light level. Normally, when you place mushrooms, you have to place them under level, I want to say 7. But with mycelium, you can place them at any light level, which is very, very handy. What's not handy is me forgetting my bone meal. And then all you get it, ow. So here, fun fact. If you bone meal the brown mushroom, there's a chance the mycelium might get replaced with dirt. Do I care that much? Nah, I gotta have a stack of it. Ah, it's still there. However, I was silly and used a non-Silk Touch axe. Now, the question is, can I use Silk Touch on these with... Alright, you learned something new. Obviously, it's faster to break mushroom with an axe, but I don't have a Silk Touch axe right now, so this will work. Alrighty, easy peasy. And I've got a little bit of extra in case I need more later. I need 10 soul lanterns. I have 5 on me already, so I need 5 more. I have a ton of soul lanterns somewhere. Somebody gave me, yeah, far too many once upon a time. I need 8 torch flowers, which I don't know if I have torch flowers. I don't seem to, but I know who does. My wonderful, lovely basemate fiance and just overall amazing person who, incidentally, lets me dig into his farms whenever I want. But also, you know, he digs into my farms whenever he needs. So it's a nice mutual, I don't know why I'm going in his house. That's not where I want to go. I want to go here. Aha. I should just keep the bone meal on me. I don't know why I put it back. Now, can you place these on... Do they have to be on tilled soil, or can they just be placed on dirt or grass? It's got to be tilled. Okay. I haven't had enough experience with these things. And that'll turn them right back into dirt since it is not hydrated. Alright, torch flower's done. I need 6 chiseled stone bricks. I guess I could just... Oh, yeah, I've got a bunch. The stone brick stairs, I think I'll need a couple, maybe? Don't remember. Gonna throw it in my box, because it's just easier that way. Actually, I'm gonna take that out, just so they're together. Yeah, good. I also need oak stairs, measly 6. That works. And we throw those back in. Coolio. Alright, and next thing I need is... I'm kind of going down my list. There's prismarine stuff that I don't need to grab since I already have it on me. Crimson fences, I need 4. Grass, not the block, but actual grass. Now, I don't typically detail on that level, but in this particular case, I actually found a nice little touch that I'd like to do. So, I need shears for this, so let's go into my gear kit. By the way, if you don't do this, you should. This is basically just anything that I typically keep on my person that I don't want to leave in my ender chest because I use it often enough that I want it on me, but not so often that I want it in my actual inventory. I have a shulker box, and it's just got extra crap like spare food, extra water buckets, my chest plate, flint and steel, you know, spare stuff that I use pretty regularly. It's just really handy to have. I do it on every server I play on, every map I play on, that I get to the point where I'm running shulker boxes. Always got to have one on me. It's just the most handy thing ever. Sometimes it winds up going into my ender chest, but for the most part, my ender chest is pretty full, as you can see. I like to keep myself as organized as I can be. So yeah, grass, and then we can just pop the shears right back in. It also means that I always know where like things like my shears or my flint and steel are, or like if I pop a totem, like I can grab them back, or if I threw my arrow away, I can just grab another one for my infinity bow. Things like that. Really, really handy. Don't know why that's there. I have questions. Next thing is pink tulips and white tulips. I need 2 of each. Now, I should have some tulips on me. Yep, I got some white ones here, and pink ones here. Love vote rewards. Honestly, if you're on the server and you're not voting every day, you're missing out. You just get free stuff. Random stuff, but free stuff. And you can't argue with free. I think that's actually it. I just need a bunch of packed mud and... yeah, and the prismarine that I've already got. So for the packed mud, all we need is, actually I've got a bunch of dirt downstairs, so let's just make our way into the basement where the mud farm is located, and let's make ourselves some mud. I love this elevator. So here is my mud farm, and you may have seen similar designs to this one. Essentially, ignore that. What it's doing is it's reusing the bottles. So you have a dispenser here with water bottles, and when the signal here, when we turn this on, that sends a signal here, and it's trying to pass a signal. And when you place a dirt block like so, the dispenser activates because this signal gets fed through this mud block and into the block beside it, which then sends a signal to the dispenser. And the dispenser triggers, which shoots out the water bottle onto the mud, and then the empty bottle then gets picked up underneath. Now, there's just a simple item filter below the dispenser for the empty water bottles, and they just get fed back through. It goes into a dropper that shoots it up a water column that feeds it back into the top. So the dispenser actually shoots twice. The first one is to fill the water bottle with water from the actual item elevator itself, and then the second is to spit the water bottle into the droppervator, and that feeds it up into the system. And it just recycles it over and over as long as I don't use the farm too quickly. I've noticed that if I run through a couple of stacks of dirt in very quick succession without pausing, it tends to break the farm. The water bottles just can't keep up. So it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. I've also got a mud block underneath because they're not a full block. If I break the mud and I don't pick it up, there's a chance that the hopper underneath will, and that'll feed it down into here. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen that often. So what we want to do is grab an iron shovel, as that is slow enough that it gives the farm time to actually run. And then you just sit with the dirt in your offhand and your shovel in your main hand, and you just hold your right and left click buttons together, looking at something that's not the mud block underneath. So if we point it towards the dispenser, and it just sort of goes. As you can see, because I'm placing the new block so quickly, the mud blocks sort of just get pushed out of the way, which is why the hopper underneath doesn't work that well. I think if I used a hopper minecart, it would pick it up a lot better, but I just didn't feel like updating it. This works just fine because I've blocked myself in on the sides. See, when you go a little bit too quickly, it can't quite keep up. So I just give it a little bit of time, hear the clicking as the dispenser's going off, and then I just start again. I broke it. And that's why we don't point at the mud block. So we'll just put that back, turn that off, and we've lost a mud block again. Where'd it go? Aha! Okay, and I believe once we get ourselves the wheat, which I also have a farm for, that's like 7 plus 1, that's a little less than that, so 4, 11, I don't know, 12? Yeah, it's good. I had two. I'm a genius. I had an extra 2 stacks of mud ready to go. Well, you know what? That was a good excuse to show off the farm. So there we go, and there we go. And I believe that is everything we need. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, let's get going. So, yeah, I think the courtyard's pretty cool. Came out quite well, but went with a little bit of the tree action here, and used the cherry tree just to tie in the village below. Used a bit of the prismarine to tie in the castle above, or the tower above, and just went with a bit of a mud, packed mud kind of combination here, and then just leading into a little bit of cobble and deep slate, just to kind of tie the grays in, and then just little bits of pop color, little bits of pops of color here and there, just to add a little bit of extra life. And as always, we are perfectly spawn proof, very, very narrowly in some cases, but it looks pretty good. Use the soul lanterns for a bit of a softer glow, also matches what we've done up top, and yeah, I think it came out alright. This is a custom tree. It's nothing too special, just went for just a little bit of a flatter top. It kind of extends out a little bit, and just a little bit of space for the lanterns at different heights, just to give it a little bit of extra definition. And that's the whole thing. Now, if you're wondering why my inventory is like significantly different from the time lapse, or just before the time lapse to now, it's because I have been off the server for about a week since I built this. And I did some vote rewards while I was offline, and I got a bunch of junk in my pockets. So I need to clean this out. And once I'm done doing that, we can go and see if we've sold anything in the shop in the last little while. Alrighty. Now I have been checking the shop a little bit. I say that I've been off the server, but technically I've logged in just to make sure my stock is shopped. My shop is stocked. One of those things. Anybody been buying stuff here, or not buying, but using it? It doesn't look like recently. We've had a couple people. This used to be full at one point, but so I know people have been using the netherite upgrade template, which is good. Doesn't look like we're really making much sales. I did sell a little bit of something a little while ago. I forget what though. But no, business has been quite slow lately. As it gets into the warmer weather in the northern hemisphere, I find that activity tends to slow down a little bit on the server, which is okay. Means people are outside having fun. Ooh, what's this? This is new. First diamond. Ah, okay. What are you selling? Coral fans. Ooh, coral blocks, amethyst blocks, coral, and turtle eggs. It's not bad. Do I need any of this stuff? I kind of have most of these at home, I think. Mostly from Vote Rewards, but that's good to know that somebody's actually selling coral blocks. In fact, really good to have for building. Just because the dead variants are a nice gray and a good texture. I've used them in the past for builds, so I think I'm gonna grab. Oops. It's 1 for 32. Yeah, I'll grab a stack. And I can't remember the bubble coral, but you know what? I'll grab half a stack of that, and I think I'll leave the rest for now. Sorry. Okay. I do love just wandering around the shopping district, seeing what people are selling. Mostly because I'm a bit of an impulsive spender sometimes when it comes to cool stuff. Have I shown you the Nether Hub before? I'm not sure if I have. If I haven't, this is the Nether Hub. It is pretty cool. So it's entirely spawn proof, and it's located right at 0, 0. And there's a nice big hole in the ceiling so that you can access from the nether roof, or get up to the nether roof if that's your jam. And we have 4 different portals at Did I say portals? I meant tunnels. We have 4 different tunnels at each of the cardinal directions. I am located in the East Tunnel. In fact, I am always located in the East Tunnel. If you ever want to find my base on any of the VanillaTyme maps that I have played in, you can find me in the East Tunnel. And the way this works is we've got some rules on the server that manage where you can place your nether portals. Essentially, I think it's like 10 or 15 blocks, something like that. I don't know, however long this is. 10 blocks or so. There's a space where you can build your own tunnel, and there's specifications for how big your tunnel can be. And so when you want to find somebody, it's really easy because it's just like east and then a number, right? So for example, I am 265 on the x-axis going east, so I'm east 265. Now, I'm east 265A because I actually have a neighbor that is also east 265 that's on the other side. So I call him east 265B. And yeah, so you can decorate your tunnel however you like as long as it's spawn-proof. So I use regular ice to keep it spawn-proof without having to put carpets or anything. If my tunnel was longer, that would be handy as a way to boat in. But since my portal's actually really close to the tunnel, the main tunnel itself, it's not really a problem. As for my colors, I just leaned into the McDonald's. I know it's kind of got like, is it Swedish flag? I can't remember. It's kind of got flag colors, but that's not actually what I was going for. It's literally just the McDonald's colors because that's the colors of my base. I usually spend a lot more time and put a lot more work into my tunnels, but this season I was just taking it easy. And yeah, so as you can see, this is usually how I get in and out because it's just faster to fly, but I could take my little train car track here. And if I want to do that, I just press that button, and that pops one of the minecarts out of the dispenser. And then I get in it and click the other button. Now, I showed this in my base tour, I think. Yeah, it makes noises too. I think right at the end going the other direction. But yeah, this is basically how visitors get to my base. And this is to control exactly where they pop out. Now, the reason why my nether portal isn't closer to my base is because I like having access to the nether proper. And by that I mean like the lower nether. Through my other portal, which I built first. So having access to the... what's that thing called again? The Nether Fortress right here is why my portal is way the heck over there. Otherwise, they were linking and creating issues, and that's no good. Normally, my ceiling portal is a lot closer to my base, but this is kind of a compromise that I was willing to deal with. But yeah, as you can see, it just goes up in here into this cactus, and that breaks the minecart, which pops it into this item hopper, and the hopper then throws it back into the dispenser on this side. So as long as I have a couple minecarts on each end, I can just keep them indefinitely, and they sort of just refill themselves. If I get too many visitors that come in this way and then leave that way, or for a different way, then I wind up getting too many carts in one or the other, and then I just have to fix it. But it's not a huge issue. And then yeah, so you see the lanes here. When it goes out, it just feeds right into this line, but then when it comes back, it wiggles around through this one, and that's the same way on the other side too. I also made a visit to the Melon Empire for the first time, and oh my gosh, they have been busy. Now, the Melon Empire and I are pretty good friends. In fact, Illusionist Naji, the individual that sold me the Prismarine, is one of the members, and they actually offered to show me their multi-item sorting system. This thing is really cool. It's tileable, it's compact, and the footprint's not much larger than a typical impulse item sorter. And because it doesn't use any minecarts or other things like pistons and whatnot or slime blocks, to my knowledge, it won't break, which is really important in an item sorter. Most of the multi-item sorters that I've dealt with in the past or seen in the past, they tend to have issues when you unload chunks while the system is in the middle of running. So because this thing just uses droppers and basic redstone components and hoppers, while it's a little bit slow, it's about half the speed of a hopper, it's pretty much foolproof. It has overflow protection, and it just seems to work. All you have to do is make sure that all the output sorted item boxes are completely filled, either with a filler item or the item that you want to be sorted in, and you just go. One other constraint of the system is that items will stay stuck in the droppers, which means that for every output chest that you have, you're going to have one item in any sort or any given unload that is just going to not make it all the way through the system, which is fine. You can just use a dummy item to flush the system after the fact, so you could always develop something like that afterwards. So I went into a creative world and rebuilt the setup from the footage that you see here, and it works just fine. So I think I might take this design and do something with it either on this map or maybe the next one. I'm using a pretty manual system right now for my non-bulk items, and it's getting to be a little bit overwhelming. I'm not sure I want to rip out that whole setup and build this new sorting system in its place, or if I might want to put it somewhere else. It's the only thing really giving me pause right now. As we're so late into the season, I'm not sure how much use I'm going to get out of a completely automated system at this point, but it's definitely something I'm going to keep in my back pocket for later. So thank you, Najee. This is really, really cool. And I mean, just this base. This base is crazy. Like, look at that statue. Another thing that I've been working on in the background a little bit is I've been putting a little bit more design work into what I'm going to do with the castle here. So I've got some plans for raising the castle up here, adding something here, starting to add some trim in. We're kind of borrowing some concept design from the tower, as I mentioned earlier. And yeah, so I think I've got something that I can start doing here. But more on that later once I have the design finished and I can start transplanting it into the server. Because, yeah, don't want to build without a plan anymore. I definitely want this to start looking better because, like, I mean, even just the difference between this and that is noticeable, I think. Especially when, like, I've already got detailing started here. I still think this needs something, though. I think it needs something extra. I was actually thinking maybe I add another rim of color, like another band of color underneath. Maybe something like dark prismarine, just to start matching with the leaves a little bit more, but still tying into the prismarine kind of greenish blue that's up here. And then I can take that dark prismarine and pull it down into the towers up front here and use it as a front wall trim. So that's the plan, idea, concept right now. Don't know if I'll add it into the tower or not. I'm very lazy when I have finished a build. I tend not to go back to it once I consider it done. Unlike my terraforming, which I am kind of constantly picking away at. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. All depends on how much time I have, because, like I said, right now, work's been really busy, which is great, because, you know, busy means, you know, job security, so, like that, but unfortunately it means that I don't have as much time for Minecraft, because after I'm done work, the last thing I want to do is sit in front of a computer for another 4 hours. Because, well, in case I haven't mentioned, I sit in a front... Words are hard. I sit in front of a computer all day for work. I do work from home, which is nice, but yeah, it's still a lot of, you know, hunched over in front of a desk. Which is not great. Not great for my back. So doing it for 12 hours, really not great for my back. But, you know, when it's not as busy, it does, you know, I'm not like leaned over and focusing so hard on programming during the day. So it means that I'm more likely to want to goof around and play some Minecraft after work. I'm recording this literally on the weekend right now because it's the first free weekend that I've had in a few weeks as well. But yeah, that's enough of me complaining.